Good morning, Year 4. Welcome to Monday's maths lesson. I hope you had a brilliant weekend. As usual with my lessons, I'd like us to start by jumping to our feet and having a little bit of a movement. So off we go. If you copy what I am doing, okay, we'll start by spinning our arms forwards, okay, bending your knees at the same time, and then spinning your arms backwards and bending your knees. Okay, and then reach up really high, we did one of these last week. Cross your body, punching. Okay, and then down. Okay, repeat that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Across. 2, 3, 4. And down. 2, 3, 4. Right, jog on the spot a bit. Get that heart rate going a bit. Okay, and now go round. Right way round. And back facing the front. Okay, we'll just do a few star jumps, get ourselves really moving. Okay, well done, nice big smile on your faces, so welcome Monday morning. Okay, and then let's do some knee kicks, so opposite elbow to opposite knee. And hopefully now just jumping side to side. And hopefully now you are feeling ready to start your lesson. Okay, so today we are going to be having a go at measuring some items. So for today's lesson, you definitely will need a ruler and if possible, a tape measure that will be able to measure longer, bigger items. In the classroom, we've got a long stick, which I'm not mentioning the name of at the moment. But if you're able to get some measuring equipment, that would be really, really helpful. Okay, so if you just have a look at the date and the WALT, so 18th the 1st, 21, we're learning to measure in millimeters, centimeters and meters. If you in a moment pause the video and write that down and then you're ready to move on. So remember, really neat, joined up handwriting and underline the date and WALT, please. Right, okay, once you've done that, for our starter, I've got a bit of a times table challenge. We normally on a, in fact, I'm just going to cover that up while I'm talking to you. We normally on a Monday do our times table test. So what I would like you to do, if you're on Times Table Rockstars now because you've learned all your times tables, I'd like to have a go at sound check and you can let myself and Miss Morton know what score you got. If you are on a specific times table, your 7s, your 8s, your 3s, whatever it is, if you could get somebody at home just to test you on some of those questions, see how you're getting on with those. We do want you to keep learning your times tables whilst you're not in school physically, okay? Now, I'd like you to do that. So if you pause, want to go away and do that, want to do that at the end of this lesson, that's fine, but I would like you to have a go at a times table test. Just as a little challenge, I've got a bit of a problem. I've got this shoe here and somebody has been attacking my shoe and causing it to have lots and lots of knots in the laces, so I can't get it back on at the moment. So I've decided that I'm going to see if I can undo all those knots in the time it takes you to answer 10 times table questions. They're random questions. I haven't made them go too high up in the times tables. And I'm going to sit here and try and undo my lace on these knots and see if you can really quickly answer these 10 questions. So once I display the screen, what I'd like you to do is just literally write down the answers to these 10 questions. We'll go through the answers in a moment and see how quickly you can do it. See if you can beat me untying my shoe. So, okay, let's reveal them to you. Ready, steady, go. Oh, it's a bit tricky. Oh. Oh, and I'm there. I wonder if anybody has managed to get those questions finished. If not, give yourself a couple of extra seconds, don't mind, and get those answers down. If you need to pause the video, and then we'll go through the answers. So the answers are here. 2 times 6, hopefully you said was 12. 4 times 8 is 32. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 5 is 35. 3 times 9 is 27. 5 times 9 is 45. 7 times 3 is 21. 4 times 5 is 20. 10 times 8 is 80. And 4 times 9 is 36. Really well done if you managed to get those done super speedily before I did my laces, or if you managed to get them done and you got them all correct, brilliant. And well done those of you that have managed to get more done and have managed to get some correct of a timetable that you haven't necessarily learnt yet. So what I'd like to do now is add up how many of those you got correct. And then we have a little key at the side. We should be getting used to my little keys for exercises. So if you got 1 or 2 questions right, you are going to do 30 seconds of sit-ups. If you got 3 or 4, you are going to do 30 seconds of star jumps. If you got 5 or 6, you're going to run on the spot for 30 seconds. If you got 7 or 8, you are going to do squat jumps. 9 or 10, you get to choose. So choose your favorite activity. Okay, so just everybody add up your score, check out what exercise you've got to do, and off you go. So whichever it is, whether you're doing sit-ups, star jumps, keep yourself moving, keep going. Okay, if you're running on the spot, make sure you're staying on the spot. You can always go around in circles if you're getting a bit bored of looking at the same thing. The squat jumpers, you're going right down and jumping right up, right down, jumping right up. If you're doing sit-ups, make sure those feet are staying on the floor. We are nearly there. You have now got 5 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, everybody. Okay. So we are going to be measuring today. What units of measure do you know in terms of measuring how long something is? Pause the video and just jot down which units of measure you know. Right, hopefully you came up with these: millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. And if you have got a ruler in front of you, you can have a look at your ruler and you can see on your ruler where the centimeters are, okay? And that millimeters is a much smaller measurement. There are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, but more of that tomorrow. And then we've got meters. Now a meter is a bigger measurement. A meter is made up of 100 centimeters. And over here, you can see my meter stick. It doesn't quite fit in the camera. It's a nice long stick. You might have a tape measure. You can have a look, pull out till it goes to 100 centimeters, which is a meter. And then our biggest measurement is kilometers. And there are 1,000 of these long meter sticks in 1 kilometer. Okay, so have a look at the next slide and see if you know what measurements we would use for the following items, okay? So if I was going to measure a pencil, got a pencil here, what unit of measure would I probably use for a pencil? Well done. If you have shouted out at the screen, a ruler, sorry, centimeters from a ruler. And I would measure my pencil against the ruler, and I'll show you more of that in a moment. What about a paperclip? Paperclip that just holds paper together. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Well done if you said millimeters, because a paperclip is very, very small. So you might want to give it in millimeters. You could possibly give it in centimeters and millimeters. What about the length of a football pitch? What unit of measure would we use for the length of a football pitch? A big area of grass. 3, 2, 1. Well done if you said meters. You'd get your meter stick or you'd get a trundle wheel and measure how many meters along the football pitch it is. We'd only use kilometers if we were then going to be measuring a much longer distance. Like if I said, how far is it for you to travel from your house to Redditch? The chances are that will be some kilometers. It would be a number of kilometers. You wouldn't measure that in centimeters because it would be an awful lot of centimeters. Okay, so we're going to have a go at measuring items, and I'm going to share a different screen with you. Right, so on this screen, I've got some lines that we're going to try and measure. And I'm going to be using this ruler at the bottom here. You can always have a go at this yourselves if you would like to. Now, when you are measuring, you need to make sure that the 0 on the ruler is right at the start of the thing you are measuring. It is not accurate if you put the edge of the ruler at the start of the thing you're measuring. You want the 0 to be lined up with the thing you are measuring. And you can see from that line that it says 20. Now, just have a think for a moment. Is that going to be 20 centimeters? There's 1 centimeter. that would be 20. No, this ruler is in millimeters. So that is 20 millimeters, okay? Right. If I look at the next line, and again, when we measure a line, I'm going to go to this green line here. When we measure a line, you always line the ruler up with 0, the start of your line or whatever it is you're measuring. Now this one, you can see is not a whole number, okay? You can see the 70, but then it goes forward 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 74 millimeters. Or I could say that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 centimeters and 1, 2, 3, 4 millimeters. 7 centimeters and 4 millimeters. Right, we'll have a look at one more of those. Ooh, didn't mean to make that unstraight. Let's go to this blue line down here. So again, always get the front of the ruler at the start of the object. Okay, so this one you can see, there's the 90, but it goes beyond that, 90, 91, 2, 3, 4, 5, 96, 97 millimeters. Or if I was doing it in centimeters, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 centimeters and 7 millimeters. Now, when you are measuring today, just make sure on most rulers, you've got the centimeter scale and you've got the millimeter scale. When you're measuring to start, just use the centimeter scale and remember that if it's over a whole centimeter, the little lines are millimeters. Okay, so that's the important thing that I want you to try and remember. Now, if you're going to be measuring items that are greater than a ruler is 30 centimeters, a standard ruler is 30 centimeters, you would need to use a meter stick. Now, if we were in school, we'd give you meter sticks and we would use these to measure. If at home you've managed to get hold of a tape measure, when we do our activity in a little while where you're going to be measuring larger items, you will lay out your tape measure, and just like the ruler, you start it at the 0 and you measure all the way along the line for as many meters as the object is that you are measuring. When you're measuring bigger items, you may need to get someone to help you to hold the measure at the start and then at the end. Now, when we did our PE before Christmas in the hall, we were practicing using the tape measure then because we were measuring how far we jumped, if you remember. So you have all had a little go at doing that. So your turn now. The first thing I would like you to do is there is a sheet in today's folder that says Monday Maths, and it's for all of you to do, and it looks, the start of it looks like that. There are some pencils on a sheet. And what I want you to do before you measure is actually have a look at the pencil and decide how long you think each pencil is, and that is your estimate. That's a guess how long you think it is in centimeters. Then you carefully measure it, and you measure it in whole centimeters and see if there are any more millimeters beyond that. And then you put your actual measurement here. Okay, now when you are measuring, make sure you measure from the tip of the end of the pencil and right to the tip of the sharp point. Okay, so that is the task that I'd like all groups to do: circles, squares, pentagons and hexagons. If you are in circles, that is the activity I'd like you to do today. If you are in pentagons, squares or hexagons, once you've done that sheet, I'd like you to, in your books, draw a table that looks a bit like that. Okay, now you will need to have coming down at least 8 lines, because I'd like you to then find 8 objects around your house that you are going to measure in centimeters and meters. So just a little tip, keep the objects less than 30 centimeters if you've got a 30 centimeter ruler. Then have a look at your object, take a guess at how long you think it is, then accurately and carefully measure it, remembering to put the 0 right at the start of the object and seeing right where the end is. If it goes over a whole number of centimeters, make sure you count the little lines as millimeters, and you can give your answer in centimeters and millimeters. So if I had just measured something and it came to 7 centimeters, I would write 7 cm, that's for centimeters, oops, and 3, let's say it had 3 millimeters on it. Okay, that's how you would show an answer in centimeters and millimeters. Okay, if you manage to complete that and you've still got more time, what I'd then like to do is repeat, but find 5 items that you could measure in meters and centimeters. And then you will need your tape measure, and you would need to see how many meters it is. And very similarly, let's say the item you measured, you found out was 2 meters and 30 centimeters, you would record it like this: 2m for meters and 30 centimeters. So that's the work I'd like to do today. It's quite practical, just a little bit of recording so that we can check that you are measuring carefully and accurately. As I say, top tip, 0 on the ruler at the start of the line and then measure it all the way and try and be as accurate as you can. Remembering the numbers are the whole centimeters and then the little lines are millimeters. Okay, happy measuring. Now, just before I leave you, I have got one more thought for the day. I'm going to each day this week give you a riddle, and you are then going to have a think about that, and you can perhaps ask your parents if you're not sure, or ask someone at home. So, and tomorrow I will give you the answer. So, riddle for today: if you don't keep me, I'll break. What am I? If you don't keep me, I'll break. What am I? Okay, happy measuring, happy thinking about that riddle, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay, see you now. Bye.